What's up, y'all? I'm G. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Remember that. Next, we got an 18-inch chainsaw. These things come back pretty dirty all the time. First thing you want to do is go ahead and start taking the chain off. What you do is loosen these two up. Take these all the way out. Make sure to set these to the side. You're going to need to put them back on. And then you want to go ahead and take the cover off. Exactly like that. Taking the chain off can be a little weird sometimes. Basically, the best thing to do is push it in and pull it off the front. Lift the chain up and go ahead and pull your bar off. Set your bar to the side too. And take the chain off. We put a new chain on every time. So every time a chain comes back, you want to throw it away. Next comes, you want to go ahead and start cleaning it up. Like I said, it comes back pretty dirty. Basically what I do, I just grab my air hose and I just clean it off. Most of the time I take a rag too, because sometimes I won't get a lot of stuff in the crevices. I try to keep this as clean as possible. The more stuff that gets built up in there, sometimes your bars start having trouble. So you want to try to get this as clean as possible. Same thing for your cover. This normally comes back the dirtiest just because all that stuff coming off the extra chain is going to go right through here. So you want to clean that off pretty good too. Next, you want to clean the bar. Wipe it down. I always take the air hose through it and try to get as much stuff as I can from inside the bar. Start at one end, go all the way down. You want to make sure your sprocket starts turning. Exactly like that. You want to make sure to do the other side too. And once you get that done, you want to go ahead and start putting it back together. Go ahead and put your bar on. Push it all the way up against the sprocket. Grab a new chain. The way to put a new chain on is these teeth always want to be facing forward. Like that. The best way to do it, take your hand like this and run it through. If you don't get stabbed, that's the right way to do it. If you flip it around the other way, you'll feel the teeth. You'll feel the teeth grabbing on your fingers. So put it like that. Put it around the back sprocket first. And then feed it onto the bar. Exactly like that. Next, you want to have your bar all the way up against it. Pull your bar all the way tight. After that, you want to put your cover back on. You got this here as your chain tensioner bolt. You got to lead that into that hole. So just match it up. Sometimes you got to loosen it up or tighten it up one or the other. Basically, you're just going to loosen this right here. And once you're actually down in here, you can see the hole. Put that back on. Take your nuts, just hand tighten them on. Don't tighten them all the way up yet. You got to tighten up the chain. Next thing I want to do is roll the chain, make sure it's on the sprocket all the way. The way to tension a chain, you're supposed to grab the bar, lift it up, and then tighten this up until it meets the bottom right there. Exactly like that. Then roll this and make sure it's still on there. After that, you're going to tighten these back down.
Is this the second one you want to know? Yeah, 10-4. Yeah, go ahead. It is full. And cannot read the
After you tighten these back down, we're eventually going to start it. Then we're going to have to retension the chain. Every time you put a new chain on there, it's going to loosen up. Basically, you got to run it long enough for it to loosen up and get the right tension. You always have to do that. If not, if you try to send it out like this, it's going to loosen up on a customer, and it's just going to be a service call. Next thing I do, check the air. You're going to take these three off. Just loosen these up. Then you want to press your decompression button in to get it off. Exactly like that. Getting the air filter off, just pull that back, pull it out. This one area is very clean. Basically to break it up apart, take a screwdriver, pop that apart, you want to visually inspect right through there. Over time, stuff will get caught up. Just blow it out, get it clean, wipe this down, get as clean as possible as you can. Just put it back on there, lock it back in. Go ahead and put your cover back on. Tighten them down. Next thing you do, go ahead and check your pull cord. You're going to press your decompression button in. That makes the pull cord pull a whole lot easier. Pull it all the way out as far as you can, grab it, and visually inspect the cord. Over time, you're eventually going to get rips and tears in them, then we got to change it out. This one's still pretty good. Next thing you want to do, go ahead and fill your gas and oil up. This is a 2-cycle engine. It's going to take mixed fuel. Basically loosen these up and fill it up. This is an 18-inch Husqvarna chainsaw. I'm going to take this red can. It says mix on the back of it. I'm going to go over with this in quite a bit about the mixed fuel. Fill that up. Then you want to go ahead and check your bar and chain oil. We actually use 10W30 chain oil. You can use bar and chain oil. We just use 10W30 motor oil. Works just as fine. Same exact thing. Customer ever asks if they have to use bar and chain oil, you can just tell them no. Just fill that up. Put the cap back on. Next thing you want to do is start this thing. You always want to make sure to start it on the ground. It's got a lot of compression coming behind it. We always tell customers no drop starting. If you don't know what drop starting is, basically you're holding it up in the air and you're trying to start it. We don't want that happening here. So you want to make sure you start it on the ground. How to start it, you got an on-off switch, press that up. Blue switch right here is your choke. You're going to pull that out. Got a fuel prime right here. Press that a few times, prime it up, and your decompression button. You'll make sure to press that in. It starts up a whole lot easier. Exactly like the cut quick saw, you're going to pull it a couple times. Exactly like it's going to start. It's not going to fully kick over. After that, you're going to press your choke in. Make sure to press the decompression button back in. And then you want to fully start it up. As you're running the chainsaw, what you want to do is check the chain brake to make sure it works. You want to make sure it comes all the way back down to the idle. You don't want to engage the brake while you got it running full throttle. Next thing you want to do is make sure it's oiling. You just have to visually look on the ground as you're running and make sure it's oiling. So you want to start it up, make sure like I said on the ground. Push your choke back in, decompression back in. After you run it for a couple minutes, that was pretty quick. Normally I run it a little bit longer. What you want to do then is loosen these back up. Just hand tighten them back down. You don't want them super tight. Take your flathead screwdriver and retension it back up. Like I said, you barely want it to touch right there. That right there is pretty good. You want to make sure it's still roll. You don't want it real tight, or eventually it's going to mess the bar up over time. So after you retension it, tighten it back down. And that's it for this chainsaw. Now this Dolmar, this is a Husqvarna 18-inch chainsaw. It takes this Husqvarna chain. It's got an 18-inch H on there. Basically it's a 68 length. Takes a little time to get used to it. This right here is a 24-inch Husqvarna. This right here takes, I got them all marked 24-inch H. Basically it's an 84 drive length. Exactly like for that one. This Dolmar, this is an 18-inch chainsaw. We have a couple of these too. let's take this Carlton brand. It's a, I got 18-inch D, and it's a 72 drive length. Like I said, over time you'll eventually get used to it. So, most of all of our chainsaws take this red cam. The only black cam, like in the last video, is only for our Husqvarna and Cut Quick saws. These right here can all take this, the normal 2-cycle, and that's it.